The views expressed on this episode, as with all episodes of We Hate Your Baby Daddy, are based solely on our personal opinions and shit we heard in the streets.
The content here should not be taken as indisputable fact. This show is for entertainment purposes only, so enjoy and don't come for us.
Welcome back to We Hate Your Baby Daddy. You know, the podcast where we grab your baby daddy by his edges and toss him into the hedges. Hey, I'm Bree. I'm here with my co-host, Dee.
Hello, hello.
And today we are going to talk about well, you probably saw the the show title, so you know it's going to be about K-Fed. But before we jump into him, let's talk about some updates. Recently, we heard that Grimes has taken Elon to court.
Yes, he has. Yes, he has. So, Grimes is actually in a California custody court, which is actually pretty crazy. I wonder, like what's the legality of this? And it's going to be a very long, bitter battle over their three kids.
Yeah, because I don't know if you guys listened to our first episode, which was about Elon Musk, but if you haven't, go back and listen to that. But my theory in that show was basically that I think Elon is using embryos that they made, like, back when they were kind of together, and just like implanting them into surrogates without her permission. Because, like, you can do that. I mean, he can do that. Who's going to stop him, especially if he made her sign some kind of paperwork, like saying that he could.
I actually looked it up and they said that Elon really wants control over these kids because he thinks that his son X is his protege.
Oh
Like
my
all those
God.
kids, 10 kids, he picked that one as his protege. And that one's just like fresh out. Like that one's still going like goo goo gaga.
And we had
And those
posted
other
this
kids are
video.
pissed.
We had posted this video to our Instagram where he was visiting like the president of Turkey, and he was like clutching X so tightly, like, you are my protege. I don't know how Elon talks, but he was clutching him so hard, and the president of Turkey's like, "Where's your wife?" And he's like, "Oh, that bitch. I don't know. I take care of X." And now that you're telling me that, that explains a lot. He marked him. X marks the spot.
Don't say that. But so now Elon's daddy is getting involved in the custody case. I don't know why, but he's taking Grimes' side. And apparently, like we said, he is not the favorite child. Maybe he was supposed to be, but Errol Musk is like a really messed up man. Apparently, and I'm just seeing this that he took Elon to a sex party when he was 9 years old.
Ew.
So now we kind of know why he's kind of like weird, I guess, about like sexuality and stuff. Because with a dad like that,
Yeah, and the dude raised him, and he's also, again, banging Elon's stepsister. So it's like, we know Errol Musk is a messed up dude, but he's saying, what did he say? He said he's on Grimes' side.
yeah, he was like, oh, children need their mothers, but it's just like, mm,
We also had another update. So in one of our previous shows, we read a story about the messy techie, where a fan had written into the show and told us about a messy baby daddy coworker that she had, and how he was like, he had a baby mom at home, and then he was banging a nurse that they worked with at the hospital. So it was like some real life Grey's Anatomy type shit. And apparently he is now also banging another nurse at the same hospital. And so she told me, she's like, Brie, I think he's like raw dogging all three of these women. I'm like, don't you guys work in a hospital? Don't you know you should not be doing that? This is what our healthcare professionals are doing, Dee. They're all raw dogging each other.
I really feel like that should be like a reportable offense. Like, I don't feel safe that this man is just dipping his hot dog in every nurse that's walking by, and that nurse has to then touch me because I know they're not keeping it just out of the hospital.
Girl, they were saying like COVID rates are going back up. Like, this is why. It's because of the messy techie. It's because of him. It's single-handedly
Honestly,
driving it up.
if I'm being for real, you know that I have a chronic illness, but If there's like some baby mama, baby daddy drama, and there's two nurses like in a tech like in my bedroom while I'm sick, I'm taking my bedpan and I'm throwing it at them. I'm done.
It's self-defense at that point. I mean, what else are you gonna do? I mean, obviously talking to them is not gonna work. They don't listen. They don't use any kind of protection. So you have to immediately escalate.
There can be no recourse. We just have to hit them.
Hit them where it hurts with a piss in the face. So now we're going to get into a baby daddy in the wild story. So what we want to do is we had a lot of fans like right into the show, and we decided we're going to do a special episode where we read all of the fan submissions and go through them because it would be a lot to get through and then jump into the episode. So that is coming down the pike.
So my baby dad in the wild story was not actually like a sad or a bad one. Maybe like a little bit of positivity, but well, maybe it is positivity, maybe it's not. We can always construe this any way that we want. But apparently there was a man and he loved his wife's kids so much he adopted all 6 kids from a previous marriage.
I saw that.
I know you made a sound. How do you feel
Yes.
about that? There's like a lot of strong feelings about that.
I don't know if I should say. Wait, tell more of the details. Tell our listeners more of the details.
What details exactly should I get in? The obvious detail or the
The obvious details.
well, I mean, okay. He's white. The woman is white and and all of her kids are white. She has 2 biracial kids by him. Doctor is a black man.
It's like, okay, I feel like, that's great that he stepped in and he did that. And then I saw that on Instagram. I was reading the comments and I'm not saying this is my opinion, but this is what some of the comments were saying. Like, it's women in our community, in the Black community, who are in this situation, single mothers, whether, the dad left or he died or whatever with kids. And, it's not that easy for us to find a dude who will step in and, play that role, let alone adopt, a bunch of kids that don't belong to him. And so it was very interesting to see a black man adopting a bunch of white kids. And I mean,
Here, you want me to get like all the juicy details?
yeah, get into the juice. I don't even think I saw the juice, so go into it.
Okay, let's get into the juice. The juice. So, the man that we're talking about is Tony, and the woman in question is called Lexi. And they met on Christian Mingle, and they met literally like a month after she signed up. So they like he just like dropped into her lap. And after talking online, he flew out to see her in Kentucky, where she was living at the same time with her sons, and they were literally like staircases. There's 16-year-old, 15, 14, 12, 10, and 7 is like back to back to back to back.
And so was she married to their dad, or like do they have different dads? What's up with that?
Yeah, she was married to the boy's biological father, but it ended and he was no longer in their lives, and they haven't seen him since like I think the oldest ones were like no, like the youngest ones were like babies.
Interesting.
Tony also has a 21-year-old daughter from a previous relationship.
Does it say if she's like mixed or
There is no information on her. He has how many children? 8, 9, 10.
I mean, I guess all I can really say is good for them. I mean, doing what they want to do. He saw her situation, he knew what he was getting into, whatever. Good for him.
Is also like a relevant thing to it. Lexi also had a problem being granted full custody of her children because she wanted to move out of Kentucky into Florida. And my situation with that, when you have a custody arrangement, or if you were previously married and you had a kid and it's in that state, some states you can get stuck in that state unless you specifically petition for the judge to like let you leave. So it's like a long battle to probably like get your ass out of there. So it took her like quite some time to get out of Kentucky and move to Florida.
So I guess she prayed real long and hard. I mean, they met on Christian Mingle, so God's on the dating apps apparently. He's like, swipe right on this gentleman. I almost said simp, but what I meant to say was gentleman. And that's what she did.
That's what she did. Meanwhile, like one of us, we probably just have like one kid, and there's like a what was the name of that guy that died under that big Mexican lady?
Oh, Kevin Samuels?
Yeah, Kevin Samuels. It'll be like a Kevin Samuels. She's ruined goods.
Oh my God, I know, right? And it's like, honestly, dude, my experience as a single Black mom, it really has not been like that. It's like everything that guy says, it's like I knew it was BS. And then I actually, got pregnant, had my kid after he died under that large Mexican woman. And, having been single and like having a child, like I just have not experienced, and I'm, over 30. Like, you know how he's always like, oh, what do you bring to the table? Like,
Oh yeah, what's
I
your
bring another
BMI?
man's
What's your
child,
dress size?
right? What's your dress size? I bring another man's child to the table. But it's like, I haven't had a situation where I'm talking to a dude and he's like, oh, you have a kid? Oh, can't talk to you. Like, that has never been my experience. So I just don't even know what that guy was talking about. I mean,
No,
I
honestly, ever since I became a single mom and like I've started to like date again and not casually, like it's honestly been me that's just been ending. It's just like I don't think it's developing into anything serious. Like it's not been the
right.
other guy like, oh, you're a single mom, I don't want anything to do with you. It's mostly been them like, oh, but I still want to see you. And I'm like, no.
Right. It's like I'm busy. I have a baby. Like I
I
have,
have a lot of things to do. It's just like I have
yeah.
5 minutes on Saturday if you want to see me.
We can FaceTime. I'll shoot you the finger guns. Hey.
Yeah, I mean, do you want my toddler right there? Because guess what? You can't meet her yet.
Right. So how's that gonna work, sir? Yeah, I mean that's definitely a thing, not having the time. And like a lot of these niggas,
They don't
they
care.
just,
A lot of people need to realize that, oh, men won't like me if I'm this, men won't like me if I'm that. Men have very little standards.
yeah,
Everyone
it's
on
like,
My 600-pound life has a husband. Everybody on intervention has a husband that will not leave their ass. You're fine with a
I
with a
always
kid.
I always say like men don't have standards, they have preferences.
Yes, they
Because
do, and their
sa-
preferences aren't even strong.
right, exactly. They're like, I would prefer, like Kevin Samuel says, like a skinny woman making this kind of money doing blah blah. I would prefer that. But, this person who's the complete opposite just walks across my path and she's got a vagina. So hey,
Walks across his path. He searched her up and hired her. That
that's
was
true.
a big Mexican escort, so you know her like her stats were right there. And he was like, "Yup, this
Yep,
tonight."
that's what I need. Good Lord,
She
what a
put that on
legacy.
him, and he couldn't take it. That was hilarious. I'm sorry, I couldn't even
What a
remember his name.
legacy. Kevin Samuels.
No, I was just like, what was
R.I.P.
the name of that guy that died under that big Mexican lady?
That
I
should
don't
be on
even think
his
she realizes
tombstone.
how much she saved this community. She's just like, oh my God, I killed a client.
It was like that scene in The Wizard of Oz with the fucking house landing on the witch. Toes curled up. His little kitten heels fell off his feet.
His glass is just like tumbled to the side.
And then some, aspiring young woman put him on and she found her way into the Emerald City and she made it.
All the yellow shit road.
All right, let's jump into the episode.
Okay. All right. Today we're going to talk about a baby daddy who, well, I hate to call him famous because he's literally only being famous for Britney Spears' baby daddy. But anyway, we're going to talk about Kevin motherfucking Federline. What a goofy ass name.
Girl, I remember when I first heard about Kevin Federline, I was literally 14 years old, and even I knew that this man was gold digging Britney Spears. Like, let's be for real.
I know. I mean, like, I understand why she was probably like attracted to him back then, but my God, man, like, look at the dude.
Right? She's probably like, oh, he's with me on all my tours. He's a good dancer, but I feel like they always want to call women gold diggers, but nearly every man who has entered into Britney Spears's orbit clearly was an opportunist. like including her most recent ex-husband, who we wouldn't even bother talking about him because obviously they didn't have any kids together. Um, but like at least Kate had like danced his way into the picture. I don't know where her ex-husband came from. He just came out of the mist and he got his claws into her while she was still under the conservatorship. So that to me says a lot about this dusty ass nigga that they're splitting now. So
Britney was not doing circles in her living room before that man. That man broke the camel's
that's a good
back.
point. That's a really good point.
Well, let's get into the timeline of this famed baby trapper, Kevin Federline, who has 6 kids with 3 different baby mamas. Did y'all know K Fed's first baby mama wasn't even Britney Spears? In the early 2000s, the first woman he ever baby trapped was Shar Jackson, the actress who played Niecy on Moesha. When they first got together, Shar had 2 other kids by someone else. She had a son and a daughter with Kevin. While Shar was pregnant with their second child, Kevin stepped out on her with Britney. Boo!
Uh,
They were engaged at the time, too, so it was just extra messy. Clearly, he saw an opportunity and he went for it.
and when he went for it, he was engaged to Shar. So he was basically gold digging so hard that he literally dumped his fiance slash baby mama, his step kids, and his own kids to go chase a bag.
That's so pathetic. But in the
Hmm.
same year that he stepped out on Shar, he married Brittany and trapped her with 2 boys. They were only married for 2 years, and right after they had their second son in 2006, Brittany filed for divorce. He claims that he was the one who wanted out because he couldn't handle being in the spotlight. But this is the same man who tried to put out an album and go on WWE just off the strength of Brittany's name. Both
Pathetic.
flops, by the way.
Both flops.
Anyway, as we know, Brittany was going through some horrible things back then, and Kevin ended up getting full custody of their sons. Everybody remembers that time. Leave Brittany alone. They did not leave her.
Hmm.
She had to pay this man 40K a month child support, and it recently came out that he's seeking even more. These kids are damn near grown, and he's still out there begging. He self-owned while begging for her pennies because he said, and I quote, "My income has changed significantly since the child support was last modified in approximately 2008. I am simply less of a name and less in demand than I was in 2008, which has negatively affected my income." Now, how is that Britney's problem that you suck?
Bruh. Like, first of all, get a damn job. Just because you're making less and you can't hack it at 40K a month, that does not mean that she should be paying you more. Like, you could have, I don't know, could consider having a fucking career. Like, you used to be a dancer, you could have started a dance academy. You could have done anything else in this world besides living off of child support and being a serial baby daddy.
Anyway, Britney did end up giving him more. Oh my God, the reference. But by the way, 2012, Fed had yet another baby mama by the name of Victoria Prince. Wow, she just really got the ass end of it. Why did she even do that?
Girl.
He married her in 2013 after she had already gotten her pregnant with her first kid. They had their second kid in 2014, and then they moved to Hawaii for her job.
Can you imagine being married to a man like that? Like, he literally does not work. Like, it looks like his last job, if you can even call it that, was in 2012. And it was literally just some reality TV show that only aired in Australia. And he's been living off of his current wife's professional volleyball income and child support from Britney for the past decade. And like you see how rappers' baby mamas always get dragged online for like relying on Instagram to be like famous and like have income and like going from baby daddy to baby daddy and like diversifying basically. Well, Kevin Federline gets dragged for certain things, but he never gets dragged for basically, being a deadbeat, lay around, do nothing, baby daddy. And he doesn't even seem to be like making any kind of money off of IG, like a check.
I would imagine he wouldn't, because even then, he's still like, even with the other baby mamas, he's still banking off of Britney, hoping Britney will do something that will somehow get him relevancy. Remember, during like Britney's court fight to get her free, and he was like really bothering her then, so he could get like his name in the
Mhm.
lines too. That was awful.
Yeah, people kept asking for comment, and I'm like, that's the same effect as like, that meme that's like, "So what does Ja Rule think?" Like, who cares what Kevin Federline has to say? They haven't been together in years. Like, why are you asking him his opinion on what's going on with her? Like, nobody cares.
I also distinctly remember him weaponizing their sons against Britney. Like he
Mm.
secretly recorded Britney, what was she doing? She was disciplining them verbally, but they were like
With no
older
context.
teens. Yeah, they were like older teens. So like she wasn't really doing much, but he was trying to like construe it as like abuse. But anybody that saw it and that was a mom was like, "Are you serious? That's abuse to you?"
Right. Ridiculous.
He has 76.2 followers on Instagram and one post. He's not even like trying at this point. Like with that much fame that he's had, he should have way more than that and more than one post. Has he
Plus,
ever
it's,
danced afterward? Has he ever like danced for anyone after
girl,
Britney?
after he dug as much gold as he could out of her, I don't think he ever hit a stanky leg. I don't think he ever hit a whip in it. Like he never danced again. He was like careless whisper, I'm never gonna
Oh no.
no, he never shook
He
a tail
literally
feather
was
ever
just
again.
like he got his pumps out, then he sat down. He's like, I'm not doing this anymore. I got what I wanted. He really could have banked off of that. Poor Britney.
Thank you. Like I said, he could have had a dance academy. He could have done a dance reality show. Look at me coming up with jobs for Kevin Federline. After this, I'm gonna DM him on Instagram. Like the
DM
personal
him. I
is
want to
like
see if he responds. He seems like the type of person that.
he probably does. He probably has his notifications turned on urgent to like wake him up even if he's asleep. I'm gonna send him like the job section from Craigslist. Like, here, nigga, you need this. But anyway, I Googled it and it says his estimated net worth is $1.5 million. And honestly, I don't believe that. I think he's broke as fuck and he went around begging women to take care of him until he found this most recent one that stuck. And I'm like, maybe they're counting his wife's net worth as his because nothing else really makes sense. It's like, I don't, where would he have gotten that money from
He's
besides
quite
just,
literally a gold digger. Like
he
he's just
is
picking off of child support off of a woman. He can't get away with
literally.
this.
So, D, if you had to be any of K-Fed's three baby mamas, which one would you be and why?
Honestly, this is gonna be a hard one because all three of them were done pretty viciously dirty, and just being any woman babying a man and taking care of K-Fed, just too much for my brain to take. One, she got cheated on by Britney Spears. I don't think I could ever live that down. Like a man cheated on me for Britney Spears. That's it. And
I don't think I could
obituary.
date again.
Two, Britney Spears. Well, you see what he broke her.
Yeah, she wasn't like that before.
And three, now you got this dude that has like four kids by two different men. One is Britney fucking Spears, so they're never going to keep talking about that. Like, oh, how's your husband doing? Oh, he's fine. He's fighting with his ex, Britney Spears. No, I don't think
And he, and
I simply would not. I would rather get a hysterectomy than be any of his baby mamas. And that's because he doesn't even have any money. Like, there's no benefit to K Fed being on top of you.
like she literally wrote the song Give Me More" about him. Probably. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know that. Again, these are all allegations and things we made up. But he's literally begging her to give him more. Like he's worthless.
No, it's the other ones. They had some type of like egg. Even Trump with his lion egg. He at least taught his kids how to scam. This dude just sits on his ass.
That's true. I mean, do any of his kids do anything? I don't know. I mean, all we hear is that the ones he had with Britney, he's like basically turned them against her. But I think he just kind of teaches them how to be like him. He's probably like find a rich woman, like get in her good graces, move in with her. That's what I did. That's what your dear old dad did. Just be like me. You don't need to dance anymore. He's like Cardi B. He don't gotta dance. He makes money moves.
He really, but you know what? I can't truly hate him for that because you have to think, like, as a woman, why are you allowing this dude to do this? So you can have somebody to lay in your bed at night to look at you and be like, I love you.
And she's
Like,
a professional, like his current wife is a professional athlete, so I'm pretty sure she could have had her pick of the litter. Like, why did you pick K-Fed? He's not even
I think
cute.
it's like
Like,
a
have you seen him?
psychological thing. Like,
It
oh, you're
has to
lower than
be.
me and I have to take care of you. You'll be with me forever. I'm like,
Me and
ooh.
Brittany's income can take care of you, baby.
And Brittany's just spinning around with knives, just hoping for the day he comes in.
Hits him like a ninja blender. Um, so yeah, this one was this one was tough for me too. Because, Britney Spears is iconic and obviously she's very wealthy, but if you see it, she's got a lot going on mentally, and that worries me. So I wouldn't want to be her. Like if it wasn't for that, yeah, I would. But in this case, I guess I would want to be Shar Jackson because her kids are older, so she probably doesn't have to deal with Kevin as much. It's like when she gets to like the weddings and like, having mutual grandkids part, that's when she has to deal with him. But like even though he very publicly cheated on her and left her while she was pregnant, she could at least like fly under the radar and be more known for her role like on Moesha, which was an iconic TV show. If you look at their Wikipedia pages, hers lists her accomplishments. It says like, she's an actress. She was on Moesha. And it only mentions K-Fed like if you go down to relationships as a former partner under like the personal life section. And if you look at Kevin's his Wikipedia page, it straight up says he's only known for being Britney Spears' baby daddy. And that fucking sent me because he doesn't do anything else.
I mean, he really doesn't. That was like his highest baby daddyism. He got the
He
other
reached the
ones. Like,
peak.
yeah, I got those as like side incomes, but Brittany was the big fish.
It's like whoever ends up nabbing Taylor Swift, he'll be on the same peak of like, baby daddy mountain next to whoever ends up being Taylor Swift's baby daddy.
Let me look at this guy when he was young, because my image in my brain is just not worth the embarrassment from this man. Let me
I
Google. Oh God, the first image
He
is him
was
with
not,
cornrows.
and he was so like he wasn't even like muscular. Like, if you look at like the 90s kind of look back
He looks
then,
like a
I
shark.
think of like Nick Lachey or like even Justin Timberlake. Ugh. Like they were kind of cute back then. He looked like shit. He had the face for someone who is a dancer because they're spinning around, they're moving a lot. You can't focus too much on the
Yeah,
face.
like if he stays in movement, it looks pretty attractive. But if he stops and stares, and you gotta look at him, you're like, ooh,
Yuck.
oh my
It's like a
God, this is.
Picasso, it's just a mess.
He's got those eyes. You
Everybody's
know what I
gonna
mean?
listen to this
Okay,
and go
everybody that's
Google.
listening to this, I want you to press pause. Google Kevin K Fed eyes, right? Images. And you know exactly what I'm talking about. He just has those eyes. Okay, how can I explain this? If you've ever
Like
been
a
on like a
tweaker.
subway in a major city, right? No,
Mhm.
if you ever been on a subway in a major city, you see like a guy kind of down on his luck, like a mid 30s white guy down on his luck. He's about to ask you for change. Those eyes.
That's how he got to where he is, I guess, with those eyes. I mean, it makes
You know what?
sense.
God damn.
We
He did
figured
ask
it
for change.
out.
He got coins with those
He
eyes.
got major coins. We cracked the case, y'all. Don't look directly into his eyes. He's like Medusa. He'll turn you into
He's
stone.
like the Medusa of bums.
D, how would we rate Kevin Federline as a baby daddy?
On scale of one being, yeah, you're all right, to five being, I'm going to bury you, I would say I three, honestly. I feel like if you exercise common sense, you can avoid a man like that.
That's very true. And honestly, to some degree, it's like, the bar for baby daddies is like in Hades. So at least it doesn't appear that he's abusive. And when Britney Spears, is going through her stuff, he at least seems like he's the one taking care of the boys. So yeah, I would say about a 3 as well.
Like he's not terrible. Like he's absolutely disgusting. But
Right, right. Like I wouldn't touch him or look at him because I don't want to turn to stone. Or like I feel like you look at him and
exactly.
your bank account gets empty.
Just like, oh my God, what happened to my money? And his eyes just squint. Then he looks,
They're
no,
just
his
glittering.
eyes squint and then he like moonwalks away. And you're like, oh my God, no, he did it to me.
I got Gap, I gave it. And that's our show. Please make sure to listen next week. And also feel free to suggest some famous and historical baby daddies for us to roast and drag for filth on this show. And also, don't forget, we're going to do like a special episode where we read all of our write-ins. So please write to us about the wildest shit that your baby dad has done, or your friend's baby dad, or your sister's baby dad has done, and we'll read it on the show. You can also send us a voice message. Spotify, there's a link in all of our shows where you can just send a voice message. I think it has to be like a minute. A minute is the maximum. And we will play it in an episode, most likely.
So leave us a review. You can leave us a review on Spotify, Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Rate us 5 stars if you love us. And if you don't, well, you made it this far, so rate us 5 stars anyway. We entertained you. Are you not entertained?
Are you not entertained?
Also, don't forget Instagram. Tell us how much you love the episode. And thank you so much for listening. Bye.